Hello everyone, and my name is Eula, and today we're gonna read Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the Getaway Story. And we were gonna start reading on the yesterday's the end of pages, and we were gonna the end of reading this chapter. Or if it's too long, then we were gonna the end of reading in some chapters for today again. Now already for read this one book with a lot of stories. Now here we go. And first we can read Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the Getaway Story, starting on 28th page. When I was done, my socks were still damp. And I didn't really want to put it back on my foot. The bathroom had one of the high-powered hand dryers, and that gave me an idea. I couldn't wait to get back home and start making me money from this idea. I figured I could make the killing in the rainy days. The only problem with the hand dryer at the airport bathroom was that it was too powerful. My socks started smoking, and then it went flying. I decided I'd just get a new pair of socks at the resort because there is no way I was gonna wear something I had to fish out of an unreal. When I came back from the restroom, there was making an announcement at our gate. I figured that we are ready to start boarding the plane, but they were just letting us know there were another delay. And it went on like that for the rest of the day. Apparently, this storm was causing problems everywhere, and the plane we were supposed to fly out on was stuck at another airport. I was starting to worry that my electronic device was gonna run out of juice while I was on the plane, so I looked for the place to charge it. But I guess everyone else was thinking the same thing. So the available socket was in the awkward place. But when your battery is at 15%, what you gonna do? Our plane have finally arrived at the gate, and all the passengers who are gone up. But if flying is supposed to be the fun, you have never know it from the way these people looked. The gate attendant got on the loudspeaker and said we'd be boarding shortly. Then she said our flight had overbooked and they needed a few volunteers to give up their seats. She said that whenever volunteered, the first would get $300 and free night at the airport hotel. I didn't need to hear about another word. I got to the desk before she had even finished her announcement and said I was her guy. So the gate attendant increased offer to $500 and some woman snapped it up right away. I just hope she enjoys spending my money. After that, the agent made another announcement. She said the flight crew on our plane had worked too many hours because of the delays, and we had to wait for the replacement crew to come in before we could take off. Now everyone in our gate was mad because what was supposed to be an early flight was turning into overnight one. When the flight when the new flight crew finally arrived, they didn't look happy to be there. This probably because they were expecting to spend Christmas Eve at home, so I knew actually how they felt. After the crew got on board, they started letting the passengers on the plane. My family got to go first because they let people with a young kids board before everyone else. But the gate attendant stopped me at the door. She said my carry-on bag was too big to fit in the overhead lockers, so it had to go on down below me at the rest of the luggage. That was fine by me because I didn't want to deal with my bag on the plane anyway. When I got on board, I was pretty impressed. The seats were a lot bigger than I expected, and they are covered with real leather. I asked Mom which row we were in, but she said we needed to keep moving. She said this was the first class section and our seats are in the economy. But the economy section wasn't half as nice as the first class. The seats were packed together and they barely had any cushioning. Mom said our seats were towards the middle of the plane, so we had it there. But Dad hung back into the first class section. He said he got upgraded because all of his Farragut flyer miles and that he'd catch up with his after we landed. So now we were gonna the end of reading with the 40 page, okay? And Mom didn't seem happy about this news. She said it wasn't fair for him to be in the first class while we were in the economy. So she said we'd all take turns sitting in Dad's seat during the flight. But Dad said the rest of us weren't experienced travelers like him, and we wouldn't even know how to act in first class. Luckily, there are other passengers trying to board, so Mom and Dad could get into the full-blown argument right there in the aisle. Dad sat down his seat, and we went to find ours. The rest of us were all in the same row. Mom, Roger, and Manny sat on the side of the aisle, and I had to sit in the middle of the seat to the other side. Roger tried to get me to the switch with him so he didn't even sit with Manny, but I was happy right where I was. I didn't have a whole lot of leg room, but other than that, it wasn't so bad. All the other passengers boarded after us, and people seemed pretty stressed trying to get their stuff into the overhead lockers. So I was glad they took my bag at the gate. Everyone put away their bag and sat down in their seats. The pilot made an announcement that the doors were closing, and the seats to my left and right were still empty. And now Gragley's family have finally come to the plane and set their seats. But there is a lot of argument about that. Let's see this plane story for tomorrow. And now, did you have fun? Yellow's English Country, we come back with some these books, but not this story because it might be a new page to read for tomorrow. And now, please thumbs up my YouTube and bye-bye everyone!